Yes, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman, Alfred.
I'm Batman.
I am Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
Greetings, Bat Family. Welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by real fans for real movies. Please visit our website, holybatcast.com. It's where you're going to find everything around the show, but if you don't want to go to the website, you don't have to. We're also all over social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast, you will find us. And if you're a fan of the show, would like to help support the show, you can do that through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/holybatcast, and as always, the biggest of thank yous to our patrons. It is almost Thanksgiving, so I am giving thanks for every single one of you that takes time out of your busy lives and can help us support the show. You guys are awesome. We're also part of the Real Fans Podcast Network, so if you want to check out some of those other shows, you can do that at rf4rm.com. As always, I'm your host, Andy DiGenova. Hello. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, you can do that on Twitter or on Instagram. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. Now, this episode, we'll do a little bit of a news roundup. We are going to talk in depth about our first live-action Jason Todd, Thanks to Titans, and then we're going to review the next episode from Batman the Animated Series. Joining me, it's not the big guy. He is very busy prepping for his turkey dinner, and so I called in the little guy. And that's our favorite brother from down under. It's Brendan Lowe. Hey, Brendan.
How you doing?
Good. And thankfully, Brendan does not hold grudges from all the little jokes I make about Australia.
No, it's fine. Well, actually, when you messaged me about that, I didn't call you on this the other day. When you messaged me about coming on the show, you said, "What up, Kiwi?" That's not actually an Australian thing. I'm not sure if you realise that. That's a New Zealand thing. But anyway, I'll let it go.
Oh, wow. Now I'm learning things.
Yeah, that's a whole other country.
Okay, well, forget it. If you want to mistake us for Canada, we're okay with it. So
yeah, no, it's not. That's not the same with Australia and New Zealand. There's a lot of rivalry there.
Oh, all right. Well, anyway, sorry, not Kiwi.
That's okay.
That's what I get for trying to branch out. That'll learn me. How you doing, man?
Stick to your same 5 Australian stereotypes. That works fine. I've been better. I'll be honest. You can probably hear in my voice. I'm battling the flu at the moment. I've been today's Sunday morning. I haven't been at work since Wednesday lunchtime. Jess is away performing with the Seven Sopranos at the moment, so I've been very lonely and very sick. But I'm on the mend. So if it sounds like I drop out at any stage to the listeners, I'm just muting my microphone while I cough up a lung. But we'll get through it.
Well, I appreciate you, even when you're sick, being able to step up and be on the show. I mean, and I'm impressed, though, because I'm sure you have a lot of Thanksgiving to prepare for as well.
Sure, yeah.
It's a big deal down there.
Yeah, it really is.
Good.
Actually, to be honest, Thanksgiving, that time period usually means that's when Jess and I have to start prepping for Christmas. Like, it's around Thanksgiving. Not that Thanksgiving is the marker, it's just the way it lines up. When we start, getting out the Christmas tree and getting out all the lights, because we light up our house and everything, getting all that stuff ready to put up in the next week or so following Thanksgiving. So it's not because of Thanksgiving, but yeah, busy times are ahead.
Yeah. I mean, most people start prepping for Christmas around Thanksgiving here too. Just depends on the person whether they do it before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving.
Well, I've always been under the impression that Thanksgiving kind of is the official start of like your holiday season.
It is. It absolutely is. And the way I like to give Thanksgiving its due, but I always feel like, do you guys get the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in Australia?
Well, no, we don't. It's funny you mention that, though, because the last maybe 4 or 5 years, I've actually, kind of in the same way that you send me VHS copies of Titans.
Yeah.
If you catch my drift, I've acquired the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and that's usually what I put on the TV while Jess and I put up the Christmas tree.
Perfect.
So I watch it a couple of days after the fact, But yeah, that's what we've watched the last few years when we set up the tree and put up all our decorations, because it kind of is, like I said, it feels like the official start of the holiday season.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is technically, and I subscribe to this, is the holiday season begins when Santa Claus enters Herald Square as part of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes a lot
That's
of
the
sense.
moment. Yes. So I feel like at that point, all bets are off, but a lot of people can't even be patient for that. But for me, that's when I mark it.
Jeremy Lloyd, no.
Well, I love that you guys do that. That's awesome. Anyway, I could talk about the holidays all day. We could. We both could.
You know I could, yeah.
Yes. But let's shift to a little bit of DC stuff. So before we get to Titans, which is kind of the main course, that's the main Thanksgiving dinner, we've got some appetizers of other little bits and bobs around the DC universe. The first is around Birds of Prey, which is, of course, ramping up for production in January, which is just around the corner. And since all of Los Angeles, especially Hollywood, shuts down for most of December, they're getting their final casting in for Birds of Prey so they can start shooting in January. And so now we officially have a Cassandra Cain.
Oh, I've totally missed this.
Well, it's because you're sick and trying not to die.
That's true.
So it's a young actor named Ella J. Basco, who she's 11 or 12. She's very young. So she doesn't have a lot of credits to her name, but she's a young Asian actress. And apparently she is related to Rufio from Hook.
Okay.
I guess that's her uncle or cousin or something. Anyway, this was announced via Variety. Again, she's very young. She doesn't have a ton of stuff that you can look back and go, oh, she was amazing in this. But it does tell us kind of the age of Cassandra Cain that they're going for, and that is a younger Cassandra Cain, 11 or 12-ish. So yeah, welcome to the DC family, Ella J.
Wow.
Happy to have you.
I'm just looking at her IMDb now. She's very young. Yeah, wow. I don't know how I've missed this, because I've still, been checking social media and all my usual geeky stuff the last couple of days. That one's slipped straight past me.
Well, surprise. But now we've got
good.
all
That's
the main characters are now cast.
Awesome.
So away we go, which is exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. It's going to be great. I still wish somehow, I don't know, I'd love to see a Poison Ivy get in there somehow, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Maybe they've got some little surprises in store for us. We can always hope, but if not, I'm still pretty excited with what we're getting.
They just, they need to get Harley and Ivy together on screen. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I totally agree. So that is going to be shooting in January, and of course, in December, just in time for Christmas, we get a big old DC shark-shaped Christmas gift in the form of Aquaman.
Yes, we do. That's coming up very quickly. Yeah,
we're getting really close, and so we've got 2 final posters for Aquaman. Now, did you see those, or were you too busy in your sick bed?
They were beautiful. There's no other way to describe them. They just looked beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the posters for this movie have been awesome, and these are great. They're totally embracing and celebrating Arthur's old school orange and green look. So he's in the classic suit for both of these posters. One is Arthur / Jason Momoa side by side with Mara / Amber Heard, kind of in profile, but both looking towards the camera. Just a little more badass look for both of them with the big gold trident.
So yeah, that's probably my favorite of the two, to be honest.
I think I agree. And Mara is in her crown.
I was going to say, the fact that Mara's in it might help it a little bit, but
right.
It's a really, really nice image of the two of them. That once sort of the movie comes out and everything, and probably just after Christmas, that photo will be the wallpaper on my phone. I can guarantee it.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm having that internal debate of whether I use these Aquaman images for my iPhone wallpaper or stick to the holidays, because right now I have a little Thanksgiving wallpaper. It'll jump to Christmas. So yeah, I think Aquaman's gonna have to wait.
I like to be seasonal with my
me
wallpapers.
too. That's why we're friends.
Yeah.
But let's say you thought that the poster with Arthur and Mara was just too busy. You only want Arthur. There is a second poster that is that money shot of Jason Momoa as Aquaman in the waterfall in the classic suit with the trident, just looking like a superhero.
Yep. Such a good image. Really cool.
It's totally badass. He looks amazing. So the tagline on the Arthur Mara poster is "Home is calling," which we've seen previously. Now the tagline on the other one, did you see this?
He's not from around here.
Yeah, he's not from around here. Meh. Not my favorite, but the picture's so cool it doesn't matter. I think it took me a while to even notice there was a tagline because let's just say my gaze was more on him. But yeah, he's not from around here. Well, all right. But yeah, really badass final couple posters as we get into that final push for the movie. So we got these two posters. Apparently, if you see Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald in IMAX, they're showing the full-on 5-minute extended Aquaman trailer.
Oh, wow.
And if you see it in non-IMAX, you're getting like a 2.5 version of that same trailer.
Oh, cool. Did you also see, I think it was released at the same time as the two posters, there's kind of that new banner poster as well?
I don't know.
It's actually, let me send it to you while we're talking. But it's essentially like Arthur looking badass with the Aquaman logo behind him, and then Atlantis behind that. It looks really, really cool as well. Actually, like I could see that becoming my wallpaper, my cover image as well after the holiday season. I just hit send on it for you now, so you should see it in a second.
All right, thanks. Oh,
and it's got the Homer's calling.
Brendan sent me something. What did he send me? Oh my God, it's your trident. Don't send me that stuff, Brendan.
It does have 3 prongs on it. No.
How weird.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm not one to judge. Okay, no, that is awesome. You're right. That's super cool. Like it's him in a new pose. It's not just taken from one of the other posters. And yeah, he's right in front of Atlantis. Oh, that might be my favorite one.
It's
because
nice,
of Atlantis. Yeah, that's a really good one. And then last week we got a bunch.
That's gonna be a cover photo.
Totally. And then last week we got a bunch of character posters that we didn't talk about on the show because Jamie and I had bigger fish to fry as we watched Legends of the Superheroes.
Yes, you did.
Which is still just as good as it was last week. But did you see these character posters? There were 7 of them.
I did. I love
them. Oh, man, they're so good. So you've got Aquaman himself, Arthur Curry. You've got Black Manta. You've got King Nereus. Dolph Lundgren is King Nereus riding his sea dragon.
Who I forgot was in this movie, funnily enough.
Yeah, you've got King Orm, Mara, Atlanta, Nicole Kidman, and then finally Vulko. So these are totally awesome. I love these two. I might even like these more than the new ones because they're just so fantastical, you know?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I out of the new ones, I do really like the one with Arthur and Mara. But yeah, the solo ones are really great. I do think that all of them look very photorealistic, except kind of for Arthur. His sort of looks more like a painting.
Yeah, totally. He looks a little more painterly, and everyone else looks like a photo.
Yeah, but I still like it. It's a great image.
Maybe they touched him up just a touch too much.
Again, I'm taken with the Mara one. You'll sense a theme here with this movie and all its promotional images.
No, I get it.
She just looks great.
Although Black Manta looks really badass too.
Yeah, the geek in me's like, you know, loving the Black Manta one. The male in me's loving the Mara stuff. What can I say?
The good thing is you don't have to choose.
That's it. I can have both.
They're both going to be in the movie. You can enjoy them both.
That I can.
Yeah. So no, these are great. So yeah, it's kind of like that last promotional push. We got all these character posters, which I think are awesome. We got these final 2 other posters, which are awesome. Again, it does not appear we're gonna get another trailer. I mean, never say never, but I mean, we're now.
I was just about to say that. Like, we've still only ever really had like the one trailer, and then that extended, version of the same trailer that you guys got at Comic-Con that they released a month or so ago. Like, I think for Wonder Woman there was like 4 trailers.
Yeah, there was. Maybe they're pulling back a little bit.
With Wonder Woman, they did release a trailer only like a week and a half before the movie, though.
Right.
It was really close. I remember that, but
that was
even
the Imagine Dragons one.
Yeah, even then, it's still not as much as what we've had in the past.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I do feel like they waited a little longer before we got the first trailer, and then, we've only gotten the 2 trailers, and so we'll see if they stick to their guns, if they can wait another month or so, or if they are going to do kind of a final push in December, give us one last trailer at that point when it's just like 2 or 3 weeks away to make sure everybody's got it on their radar.
Because we didn't even really get a teaser for this. Like, it was just trailer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, first trailer was Comic-Con, July.
Yeah, and that was only, 6 months out? So 5 months out.
Yeah.
BVS, we were getting trailers for a year and a half before.
Exactly. So I do wonder if, they're waiting for all the Thanksgiving movies to come out because that's going to be really busy and it might be a lot of noise. They might be afraid getting lost in that noise. Or they've already got that great extended trailer that, has been online, but for the casual moviegoers who are all going to go to the movies to go see Fantastic Beasts or Ralph Breaks the Internet or The Grinch or whatever. Whatever the big movies are coming out in the next 2 weeks. To make sure those casual moviegoers see that before they bother with the third trailer.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame them. That trailer's great. I haven't seen the cut down version of it yet. I don't think it's online. I feel like it would have been posted if it was.
I haven't seen it.
But yeah, it makes sense. Like, they already had this really great piece that I think is as good a sell as any. And so use that for the Thanksgiving rush, and then if they feel the need, like if tracking recommends that they need to do one more, they can do that in December when it's like, oh, in 2 weeks, boom, Aquaman.
Yeah. No, it's funny, like, having a movie like this come out right before Christmas. Like, I don't recall sort of that ever happening before, particularly with a DC movie. So
Right.
Normally I've just got the, that DC movie to focus on as sort of the focal point of my excitement. Whereas, we just said before, you and I both love Christmas, so it's going to be a weird build-up for this one.
Yeah.
Because I still don't know when it's released in Australia, to tell you the truth.
I think it's summer of 2019.
Oh, okay, cool. So, because I still see promotional images saying, I think it's the 19th of December. It's because there was talk that we were going to get it 1 or 2 days before you guys. But then I'm still seeing a lot of promotional stuff saying the 26th of December, which is when it was originally slated to be released, which is Boxing Day over here, which is a big movie release day. Like, a lot of stuff like Ralph Breaks the Internet and everything, your Thanksgiving movies, they actually hold till Boxing Day for us.
Right.
It's a big movie release day, so it kind of made sense that they may hold Aquaman till the 26th. But yeah, I'm seeing the date, like both dates, on several movie theater websites, so I still don't 100% know what date it's coming out here in Australia. So it could be the 19th.
You're going to show up at the theater on the 19th, and you're going to be like, one for Aquaman, please. And they're going to go, we're sorry, that comes out on the 26th. And you'll be like, one for the Grinch, please. And then they'll take you out back and kick you in the nuts.
Okay. Not a fan of that new Grinch movie?
I haven't seen it, but the trailers make me retch.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I might have to wait a couple of days extra, but a couple of days compared to a few months like I have to for some movies, I can wait. Plus, being that close to Christmas, I'll have plenty of stuff to keep me occupied, so...
Well, and I'll just DM you all the details before you see it.
That's fine. I can live with that.
Great.
Well, you saw it the other night, didn't you?
I did.
Okay.
I did not.
Yeah, I was going to say, the people who aren't... That's sarcasm for those who aren't aware.
But a shitload of people did see it the other night. So here's the amazing thing is I think Jamie and I talked 2 episodes ago how James Wan announced, the movie's done. And now people are seeing it. Warner Brothers is showing it to people. They had a little event on the lot last week where they brought the press to come see the movie. I was not invited.
Which is a good sign because there are certain movies they didn't do that with.
Right. Yeah, they did not invite me. I guess Holy BatCast is still not big enough. Boo. But I definitely know some folks in attendance. I've heard good things. I'll just leave it at that. Because everyone is embargoed. They're not allowed to talk about it yet. But yeah, the fact that they're showing the movie over a month out is a really great sign. It shows a lot of confidence. And then they just announced that they're doing advanced screenings for Amazon Prime members.
Oh, cool.
Which I have not looked into the detail as to how to sign up for one of those. I am an Amazon Prime member, but I haven't bothered to look to see how to sign up. Yeah, so they're showing it early. I believe the social media reaction embargo drops like in a week.
Oh, wow.
And then full reviews aren't until December.
Okay.
So like I do think they're showing a lot of confidence in the film like they did with Wonder Woman.
I was going to say, because that had press screenings and stuff of like a month or so out, didn't it?
Yeah. And they dropped the review embargo early because they knew what they had. And then with Wonder Woman, then they did those fan screenings a week out that I was able to go to, which was awesome. So kind of keeping my eyes out for that. But yeah, so I mean, and then it's premiering overseas earlier than the 21st here. So I think, at least the 14th might be the earliest that it's being released. So Warner Brothers doesn't seem all that concerned about it.
If it's, and this is no disrespect to the movie at all, but if it's half as good as Wonder Woman, it's going to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because in my opinion, Wonder Woman's just that good.
No, I agree with you. So yeah, I'm super psyched. I love the fact that they're showing it this early. Again, it's done. They're showing it. They're not afraid of it, which is a really good sign. So now we just have to try to be patient.
Yeah. Well, I'm used to it, so it's all good.
That's true. So we got to be patient for December, but then we get this Aquaman gift for Christmas. And then right after the new year, we get another gift because they've announced the premiere date for Young Justice Outsiders for all of us on the DC Universe, like you, Brendan.
Yay!
Woo! So season 3 of Young Justice Outsiders will premiere on January 4th.
Happy New Year.
Woohoo! I'm so excited. So that is something to look forward to. I've been waiting a long time for season 3. So that is just around the corner too, which is very exciting.
Now, I did see the news of the release date, but obviously with the DC Universe situation, I didn't bother looking into it too much because it's got nothing to do with me, apparently. Is it going to be a week-for-week release like Titans, or are they going to do a dump, like a season dump of it?
That's a great question, and I was just looking for that on the little announcement, and it did not say.
Okay, fair enough.
So if someone out there knows, like if it was said elsewhere, I haven't seen it, but someone let me know because I was curious of the same thing. Are they going to do what Titans is doing and just do it week to week? Which I gotta say, I'm kind of grateful for. Like I know people want it now, but like I love like every Friday going, oh good, new Titans today. Like it's like a nice little end of week surprise. I love it.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
And as best I can tell, season 1 of Titans is going to be 23 episodes. They're doing a full-on TV season.
For Titans?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought it was like 10 or 11.
So did I. So I thought 10, because that's the Netflix model, is 10 episodes. And so I just assumed 10. But I think it's a full 23. Because I've like gone on IMDb and it's like Brenton Thwaites, Dick Grayson, 23 episodes. And I'm like, well, they obviously haven't started season 2.
Huh. Very interesting. Because, I thought it was like 10 or 11.
Well, and on the app right now, which I'm sure is what you're referring to, like it only
shit.
it has placeholders for the first 11, but I feel like when the app launched it was just 10, and so I feel like as we're going they're adding more slots.
Very interesting.
So that's exciting too, because I really thought like 10 episodes and then I'm going to have to wait another year and I was going to be real sad. But 23 episodes, man, that's just a feast. A Thanksgiving feast, if you will.
It's good if you can get it.
It is great. Let me tell you about all the reasons it's great. You get to watch Titans. You get to watch Legends of the Superheroes. You get to read comic books. Although I will say, so today I went on the shop because I need a new phone case. And I was like, ooh, I bet DC Universe has some cool phone cases. They have 3 phone cases and none of them are very cool. So if you're out there listening, you guys can do better. Come on. Step it up. I was all ready to go on and find a cool Batman or Robin phone case, and there were like 3 of them, and they were not anything special. So, boo. Anyway, I know. So lots of fun stuff coming. Obviously, Young Justice in January, Aquaman in December, but also in December is the big CW crossover. So we're getting ready for that.
This I can't wait for.
Yeah,
I mean, I look forward to this every year. It's so good.
It's become a cool little annual tradition, and I'm super excited for it. So, we know that's coming, and then coming next year on Supergirl is Lex Luthor.
Yep.
And now we know who's playing Lex Luthor.
We do. This is of all the news. This is the one I've been keen to get into with you, actually.
All right, well, go for it.
Well, I'm just curious. Jon Cryer, for those of you who haven't heard, has been announced as Lex Luthor. Casting that I sure as hell didn't pick in a million years. But strangely, I'm okay with it. I know there's sort of that usual backlash that seems to be happening out there. And actually, can I just say on the record too, can people, all the comments I've seen on a lot of the outlets that were reporting the news and everything, can people please get over Michael Rosenbaum as Lex Luthor? He was fantastic, but he did that role for like pretty much a decade. I know he wasn't in all the 10 seasons or anything, but all these people saying I wanted him to reprise his role and everything, that's no, like that version of Lex belongs in Smallville, not this new universe. So, yeah. Like I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. I've met him a couple of times, and he's really cool and funny and great. And I loved his Lex Luthor, but it's been done, and he wouldn't want to reprise the role anyway.
I haven't seen much of that, but I'm not surprised.
Jon Cryer, though, like, what do you think?
As you said, I did not see it coming. That was super unexpected, and it was one of those things where when I saw it, and I think it was yesterday when it came out, when I saw it, I kind of had to double check to make sure that it was accurate. And
it was one of those ones you're kind of like, huh?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Lenny?
But I've always liked Jon Cryer anyway.
Yes.
Ducky forever. And
I was going to say Lenny forever for me.
Well, that too. And so it was unexpected, but at the same time, I've always liked him, and I think he's a good actor, and I love the idea of giving this to him. I think he can do it. Like, I know that people often think of him as more of a comedic actor, but he's an actor, and actors can change, you know? So, I think that it's a really cool idea. It was a fun surprise. I love that he does have that little bit of heritage with Lenny Luthor from Superman 4.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's interesting casting, but it's also, I love with all the CW shows how they honor the past. And to cast Cryer as Lex really, really does that to the next level. But I even commented, I think it might have been on Real Fans or when I shared it for the Nightlight yesterday, like for a lot of casting for this CW universe, I've always, not for all of them, but for a lot, my reaction's always been, really? Them? Grant Gustin, I'd never watched Glee. Anytime someone from Glee was attached, I was kind of like, oh, really? But, you know, every single person they've cast for this series, or these series, have been fantastic. Like, they own the roles, and I'm expecting more of the same. Like, I mean, Tyler Hoechlin, when they announced him as Superman, I was like, the guy from Teen Wolf, really? He is brilliant, and we've talked about him before. Like, I love his Superman. It's just I want more and more and more of it. So yeah, I'm expecting more of the same with Cryer. I'm really interested to see him play evil.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's already bald, apparently, judging by the
Right.
photos. Like, so I'm all for it. Bring it on. I'm really excited, and it's a curiosity that really has me excited to see how he's going to pull it off and what the portrayal's going to be like.
Yeah, I think he's got the darkness in him. I just think we're not used to seeing it. And so I think this
Exactly.
gives him a chance to stretch and show it, and I'm all for it. I mean, as I've said in the past, I'm rarely hypercritical of casting because I'm always like, well, I wasn't in the room for the audition or the read or, there's a reason a lot of these people were chosen. I mean, certainly there have been mistakes on occasion, but I feel like those are certainly the exception. And so when Jon Cryer he's been acting for 30 years. He's certainly talented, and I do love the idea of it, of doing something a little off the beaten path, and I think he is going to surprise us all. So I'm all for it. I support him 100%.
Something I'd like to see in the characterization, because Jon Cryer's like a littler guy. And actually, when they cast Eisenberg as Luthor, this was something I was kind of hoping they might do as well. Is Lex is kind of in the comics and the animated series and stuff in particular, like he's a mountain in the animated universe.
Right.
Like he's a big guy. I kind of like the idea of a smaller Lex, but like him having a Napoleon complex.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that would, if you're casting a smaller actor in the role, I think that'd be an interesting route to take. And like I said, it was one I kind of, when they announced Eisenberg, I was like, that could be interesting. And I thought maybe a Napoleon complex could play a part in it. It didn't. But yeah, like Cryer is someone who I could see having that. Like, if that was a way they were to go with the character, I think a Napoleon complex would make it really interesting.
Yeah, I could see that. I feel like it's sort of under the surface in the Eisenberg version. Like it's never addressed, but I feel like there's certainly feelings of inadequacy that he has compared to Superman. So I think it's kind of there, even if they don't, underline it. But yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, that is a huge motivator for Lex Luthor, is that he is only human. For everything that he has and has done and has achieved, he's still only human. And he will never be Superman, and he has to prove that he somehow can be at the level of Superman. He's just got to work 10 times as hard for it. And that all kind of factors into it. So I'm excited to see it. And I already love his family on the show. I like his mom, I like his sister, so I'm excited to complete the family with Lex.
Actually, what just occurred to me while we were talking, the way these shows are, we could very well see our first live action power suit.
Excuse me, we've seen the power suit in Supergirl.
Have we?
Yeah. It's been in the show. It was like in like a storage locker or something.
We did. That's right.
Yeah. And I think it was between Lena and Mama Luthor. I forget Mama Luthor's name, but anyway, Brenda Strong, who I freaking
Mrs.
love too.
Luthor.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like it was a scene with them, and there was the power suit. I just remember going, "Oh my God, there it is!" So yes, they could absolutely
forgot about that, but no one's worn it, so I think I kind of forgot. But
right, exactly. It was just a cool Easter egg that they had. But even like previously, I don't know if you've been keeping up. Lena Luthor had some tech that seemed like it was pulled from Lex's power suit. So
no, I'm up to date with all the CW shows.
Well, that's good, because I don't think I am, but I'm trying. It's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jon Cryer's Lex, I'm all for it. I support it. Yeah, I saw mostly positive reactions. I did see a few fans who were like, I don't see it. But I think he has got it in him, and I look forward to meeting him on episode 15 of this season.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
and like I said
cool.
before, I think it might have been the last time we podcasted together, or second last. I just really want to see a Tyler Hoechlin Superman show desperately. And if casting Lex and everything, bring it on. Like it's all the pieces are coming together.
Mm-hmm. I know. So one more piece. We'll see how it progresses. Mm-hmm. But yeah, part of the reason I have a hard time keeping up with all the CW shows is because there's so many of them. There's so many shows. And my top priority has become Titans.
Nice segue.
Every week.
I knew you were building towards that.
What are you talking about? But it's also 100% true. Like,
it is
Titans
true.
comes first, and then whatever, it's like Titans, Legends, Flash, Supergirl. And I've not kept up on any of season 2 of Black Lightning, so I feel like a slacker, and it's just too many. Anyway, Titans continues to delight me. I love it. And so this week, we get Dick Grayson suiting up and teaming up with his replacement, with Jason Todd. And so this is episode number 5 of Titans, and it is a big enough occasion.
It was 6.
Oh, you're right. It's 6. I'm sorry. 6. Yeah. It is a big enough occasion to get our first live-action Jason Todd, especially for a Batman show, that I feel like we really got to talk about this episode. We'll stay spoiler-free, and then I'll give the spoiler warning in case anybody out there isn't caught up, wants to hear our overall reactions. I'll give the spoiler warning. So if you watched the last episode, Dick Grayson was in a sticky situation, and Jason Todd jumped in at just the right moment. And so this episode sees the two of them teaming up, learning a little bit about each other. Dick tries to ditch Jason, but it's not that simple because there's something going down and it affects Dick. And so Jason and Dick are off to solve the mystery of what's going on. I'm trying to keep it vague before the spoiler warning. And so the rest of the Titans, they do make an appearance, but they don't go on this little side mission with Dick and Jason.
Very brief.
So spoiler-free reactions to this new episode, Brendan.
Well, before we move any further, I just need to ask you, knowing you, and I have deliberately haven't messaged you since this episode was released, is this your favorite TV episode of anything ever?
It's close. It's really close. If maybe it took place on Halloween, maybe then it would.
I was watching it yesterday morning, and I watched it again this morning actually, and the first time around, I just kept thinking, it's like this episode was made for Andy. I mean, the only way it could get better is if Tim Drake somehow showed up.
Right.
But, we're not there yet, but. Yeah. I mean,
well, there's a certain point where a character says, "How many Robins are there?" And I'm like, "At least one more."
Yeah. Look, I think this might be my favorite episode of the season. There's maybe only 1 or 2 episodes so far that I've been sort of like, I didn't like that as much as the last one. Doom Patrol's definitely a favorite. The first one was great. Last week's episode was really good. Like, just that button at the end with Jason showing up. Like, I lost my mind. Even though I knew it was coming, I kind of didn't realize it was happening then until it happened. Like, when the smoke got in the room and everything, like, I was sort of hitting Jess's leg going, I know who it is. She's like, who? Because she doesn't follow this stuff like I do. She watches it all, but she doesn't follow the making ofs and build-ups and stuff like we do.
I think it's very nice that she watches us with you.
Oh, she loves all this stuff.
Just by the way. I just think that's nice.
She's wearing a Batgirl shirt the day I met her. So, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so cool, as it's almost a Robin's Reckoning.
Yeah.
Story, and I know how much you love that, and I love it as well. And it's the relationship between Dick and Jason's great. Jason isn't like Damien in the way that you kind of just, well, I know a lot of people love Damien, but I've always flat out hated Damien. Jason has moments where you really like him, and then moments where you're just like, oh, someone needs to take a crowbar to you ASAP. Mm-hmm. And that's in a 40-minute episode. It was so good. I loved it.
Well, yes, I loved it as well. Shocking no one. But it's funny that you said what you did, because I got a couple tweets from friends and listeners who were like, "Oh, Andy's gonna flip," and I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to watch it." I don't usually watch these till Saturday because I usually have things going on Friday. So yes, I was really looking forward to this one, and then hearing from other people being like, "Oh, Andy, you're gonna love this," really got me even more excited. No, this is so good. This show is going to places I didn't think it would go. I mean, when we first heard that there was going to be an episode called Jason Todd, I was like, I wonder what that will be. I never thought they would go all in the way they have. And I love it and I respect it. It's like, no, it is a full-on episode of Dick Grayson's Robin teaming up with Jason Todd's Robin and going on a mission together. It's great. Throughout the series, and then especially on this episode, I couldn't help but think there is a segment of Batman fandom who insist that Robin can't work in live action.
Well, they're just wrong. And
I'm not saying all. I'm just saying it's certainly a sentiment I've heard from different Batman fans of like, oh, you just can't do Robin in live action. It doesn't work. And then I'm like, please enjoy Exhibit A, where not one, but two Robins are pitch perfect in live action on screen.
Yep.
So yeah, to get two Robins, and again, they're so who they should be. I mean, Dick has been Dick, and obviously we've got, Dick in this show is obviously a Dick who's dealing with the past and kind of trying to figure out who he's going to become, and there's some bitterness there, and obviously this is more of a darker side of Dick, which is not unprecedented, but it's still very much Dick Grayson. And then this Jason Todd is Jason Todd. He wants to be Robin for the kicks. For him, it's good fun. To quote Alfred, it was good sport. He's just having a blast, and he's cocky, and he's kind of a shit, but he's having fun. And I just think it's nailed here. Is there's an enthusiasm, but a recklessness, which is always who Jason Todd has been. And so to see those two personalities, an older and wiser Dick who has been in Jason's shoes and is trying to warn him of what the downside of that can be, and then a Jason who's just too caught up in the excitement of it all to listen, or just too cocky to listen to anyone but himself, because there's parts in this episode where he makes it very clear he doesn't even listen to Bruce if Bruce isn't around. So it's just great to get these Robin stories. Like you said, they play with Dick's past and how it comes to haunt his present. And so there are certainly comparisons to be made with Robin's Reckoning, but it's not just that. It's something new. It's still a new story. And I really respected that, of like telling a new Dick Grayson Robin story that plays off of the past without it just being the story that we already know.
Yep.
Because that's kind of what I was afraid it might turn into. But no, it's something different, which I really loved as well. So no, this is a terrific episode. Everyone's right. I loved it. I was delighted. I want to watch it again. I mentioned earlier, I go on IMDb and stuff. This is not the last we're seeing of Jason. He'll be around.
Yeah. No, I hope so.
But yeah, so the actor, I think his name is Curran Walters. I don't know how you say it. He nails it. Like, sometimes you want to bitch slap him, but you're supposed to.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, I think the characterization is great. I like the two different Robin suits. I like seeing how it's still Robin, but it's been changed a bit. I like seeing Dick wrestle with the fact that he's been replaced.
Yeah.
Which, of course, stings, no matter how you look at it. No matter how over something you are, it still stings to get replaced. How many people have broken up with someone, and it was your choice, but then as soon as they get together with someone else, you're still kind of jealous?
Yeah, that's human nature.
Same thing, So yeah, no, a great episode. Definitely, if you're hoping for more Raven and Beast Boy, this isn't your episode. They'll be back, but this is a great Robin-centric, Dick and Jason-centric side story that was really cool.
Oh yeah, like I said, easily my favorite of the series. I can't. Yeah, I loved it.
I agree. It is awesome. Totally badass. Great action from both Robins.
Yep.
And yeah, so good stuff. I guess we'll want to talk spoilers. So if you do not want to be spoiled on Jason Todd, jump ahead a few minutes. I don't know how long. But yeah, this is your spoiler warning. I think you need to watch it. Watch this episode. But yeah, we're going to speak freely.
By any means necessary.
I'll send you a VHS.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. The first one you sent me yesterday wasn't great quality and had like Arabic subtitles, but the second one you sent me overnight last night was really good, so I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Happy to help. So spoiler warning is out there. Speaking of the story itself, so yeah, you kind of mentioned, how it takes the lead from like a Robin's Reckoning type story, but I like, again, that it was a new twist on it. So you, okay, first of all, we find out that people in Dick's past are being murdered, and they're being melted with acid, and they're all the people that it was his circus family, if you will. Yeah. So you meet Atlas the Strongman, who was kind of Dick's guardian when his parents died, and it was Atlas's choice to let Bruce take Dick. What a
sweetheart.
I know. He's like, just in that first scene at the Grayson's funeral, you're like, oh, I love this guy. I want him to be my guardian.
I love the big mountain guys like that who are just so softly spoken and everything. Like, yeah, he was a real gentle giant. I loved him.
Yeah, he was awesome. So like in that, and it's funny because I'm watching. So they do this flashback of the Grayson's funeral. It's Dick, and then it's young Dick, and then all of these other people. And it took me a second because I was like, I thought this was like maybe post Bruce. And so when this large black man put his hand on Dick's shoulder, for a second I went, oh, is this Lucius Fox? Are we going to meet Lucius Fox?
I had the same thought.
And then, I mean, he's really big. But then you kind of figure out, you go, oh no, these are all the circus people. And so then they sit down and have that conversation about, what's next and everything. And what I loved about this was that I feel like that question has been raised. It's like, oh, Dick gets adopted by Bruce Wayne. Why would he not just stay at the circus? Mm-hmm. Surely those are the people who know him. Those are the people who care about him. And I like that they address it here of like, yes, you could stay, but you'd have a much brighter future if you go with Bruce Wayne. Yeah. And I just think it's a nice acknowledgement.
He was like, I want that too. But, my parents, your parents gave, I'm paraphrasing, but essentially like, I have to do what's best for you, and staying with us in the circus isn't what's best for you because you're going to be poor. And he even says Bruce Wayne can give you everything that I can't.
Right. Mm-hmm. Although, when you're living with Bruce Wayne, it is not the greatest show.
No. There is actually a scene when Jason shows Dick the photos, and it sort of cuts between the photos of their victim photos, I guess, for lack of a better term, right. And it's him sort of walking around backstage at the circus, like sort of like a montage, passing all the characters and everything. Mm-hmm. And I did get a bit of a "this is the greatest show" vibe in that
totally.
Scene. Yeah.
Yeah. And as you met all those characters, they were all the ones from the funeral. And then as you met them in this flashback, then you kind of got this flash of their dead body, which was very disconcerting. But the way they had been killed, like they had all been sprayed with acid, and it all looked like it was kind of on half their face. So I did wonder if they were teasing Two-Face.
Well, they even say when Jason and Dick are talking about Maroni, saying how that, what was it? It was a specific.
They basically said it was like his weapon of choice.
Yeah, it's the Maroni family weapon of choice, and
right, hydrofluoric acid.
Yeah, he said your parents, Harvey Dent. They definitely don't hide the fact that it's like, this is the same acid that made Harvey Dent Two-Face. Yeah,
so it's cool that they acknowledged that and still tied it in with Harvey Dent, but then letting us know, okay, we're probably not going to see Harvey Dent.
Yeah, but it's letting us know he's out there.
Yeah. But when I first saw those photos, and I think I even saw it in like the scenes from last week, I thought, wait, are they really going to do that?
Well, look, we've all seen Batman Forever, and we know that Two-Face is who killed Robin's parents, so...
Accurate. It's hard to argue with that. It's on film.
It's canon.
It is canon. So yeah, I thought that was a cool way that they definitely tied all that in. And I did notice that earlier when it was the flashback and he said hydrofluoric acid, I was like, huh. Like, I kept thinking, oh, he must have said it wrong. Because you don't usually hear hydrochloric acid?
Hydrochloric, yeah.
So like, but then when they came back later, I was like, oh, that's why he said it so clearly in that earlier scene for us to remember, oh, okay, it's a different type of acid. It's like a calling card of the Maroni family.
To the point that the Maronis have guns that shoot the acid at people.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, like I love all the stuff with Dick just kind of coming to terms with he's been replaced. Jason gets to drive the Batmobile. Dick hasn't driven the Batmobile, from what we assume. The fact that
I love that. I love their interplay between each other, like how Jason had just dropped stuff like that, like he lets you drive the Batmobile, and when they're first together and they drag old mate's body to the car and everything, and Jason just like goes for the fist bump.
Yes.
And just kind of like looks at him for a second and then begrudgingly just gives him a really quick fist bump and keeps getting him in the car. Like, stuff like that was brilliant. It cracked me up.
Well, yeah, like Dick is like, I don't like you. I don't want to like you, but you didn't do anything wrong.
This isn't your fault. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't your fault.
And
you
Jason's
can just see the conflict.
Excited to be with Dick. Like, he's really happy to finally meet him. He idolizes Dick Grayson.
Yeah. So yeah, like seeing all of that play out is super fun. And even just like where Jason's like, he's kind of trying to show off, but he's, it seems pretty good natured where he's like, check out how cool the new tunic is, like the old ones.
Even something really subtle, like when just after the fist bump, actually, when Jason's going to run back into the apartment building and everything, he's running through the parking lot and he like jumps up and like touches one of the concrete beams and stuff. Like just something little like that. It just sort of shows his excitement of how happy he is to be actually working with Dick Grayson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Totally.
It's real subtle, but it's like, yeah, I remember doing that when I was a kid. If I was running off somewhere, like you'd jump and touch the doorway or try and touch the roof or a beam or something. Like, yeah, I thought that was a nice little touch too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like he is excited to be with Dick, and Dick's just like, he's just taking it all in and being like, but good stuff all around. And when they go to the safe house, so Bruce has these safe houses throughout, and they go to the one in Chicago, and the fact that Dick's access has been revoked.
Yep.
And Jason has to let him in. Oof. Painful.
Now I have to ask about this safe house. It is kind of a tower. Now, do you think this could potentially become, say, like a Titans base?
That did not even cross my mind, but it's certainly possible if we think they're going to settle down in Chicago. Normally, Titans Tower's in San Francisco.
Okay, I wasn't too sure of the location, but I'm just looking at it, and I'm kind of like, huh. Then again, Jason does say that he's got these all over the country.
That is true.
So, but yeah, I was just sort of looking at it. It was a very unique shape. It was very much a tower. And I was like, I wonder if this is kind of going to be, a base of operations for them.
Interesting. It didn't cross my mind, but now I'm intrigued. I like the idea of us eventually ending up in a Titans Tower somewhere.
Just a thought I had.
It's a good thought. I didn't even think that far ahead.
Because the tech's all there. Like, you see them in the kind of like a mini Batcave with all the monitors and that sort of stuff. Like, it's all there.
I don't know if you noticed, but maybe this is just me. I loved the new Wayne Enterprises logo.
I did too. It kind of looked very Nightwing-y though, didn't it?
Yeah. It was like it was definitely blue and kind of wingy, and it was unique, and I just thought it was super cool. Where I was like, oh, nice. Like, I feel like we've been looking at the same Wayne Enterprises logo for 20 years, and so I like that they mixed it up a bit.
Yeah, no, it looked really cool.
I'm also so happy for Corey that she finally got a new outfit. Because she had been wearing that dress for 5 episodes, and I'm like, I don't think you've done laundry. I feel bad. You need to change your clothes.
I mean,
Here.
I don't think it's any better, but it's certainly something different.
But I was like, I wonder where she went and got it. Like, kind of a cool sheer disco outfit. I love it.
Still rocking that fur coat, though.
Heck yeah.
Oh, and I also loved the scene where... Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. I loved the scene when Corey and, the couple of Titans, they sort of all came to the safe house, and I loved the interplay, how they were all trying to sort of talk to one another and suss out who Jason was, and Dick would interrupt all the time. And then when they realized, when Jason said that he was Robin, because they saw the briefcases with the suits and the back and forth, and Dick just kept trying to shut it down all the time. Mm-hmm. That scene genuinely made me laugh.
Yeah. It was awesome. Well, I mean, it goes back to the last episode, which we didn't really talk about on this show, but I loved the last episode because when Dick finally shows up as Robin with the rest of the Titans, and Beast Boy's reaction of, oh my God, it's Robin. Basically saying how my brain works.
Yeah, he's just like, what, you're Robin? I thought you were Robin. I want to be Robin,
Yes, he goes, can I be Robin? How many Robins are there?
Yeah, and then just when it's just, who is it? It's Raven, Beast Boy, and Jason just there. And then, just quietly, Beast Boy's like, can I be Robin? Yeah, that made me laugh too.
Well, and the other thing I wanted to acknowledge about the last episode, when they figured out he was Robin, I feel like there was a little meta moment when Beast Boy was talking to Dick, and I think he said, oh, you're Robin? He goes, yeah. He goes, does that mean we're going to see Batman? And Dick goes, no.
Yeah, no, that's true. Actually, I thought the same thing.
I'm like, I think that was for all of us.
Yeah, no, it probably was.
Everyone tap the brakes.
However, we do get to see one very important Bat thing make a bit of a cameo this episode. We do. This is what I assume Jamie's tweet was about.
I'm sure, yeah. So Jamie clued us all in first thing Friday morning that there was a quote cameo in a flashback in the Batcave, and we didn't get to see much of the Batcave either, but just enough to know of what it is, and yeah, just a little glimpse of a Batmobile.
Yep. And from the side, you sort of get the best view of it. It looks very much inspired by the animated series. Mm-hmm. I would say. And then you get like a sort of blink and you miss it. Pardon me. Sorry about my voice, guys. You get a blink and you miss it view over Dick's shoulder. It's kind of blurry in the background. Mm-hmm. It almost looks kind of 60s-esque.
See, that was exactly what I thought. Is from the side, it looked very animated series, but then when you saw it sort of in the background, there was like a flash of red that made me think 60s.
Yeah, and it kind of almost had like the two... what's the sort of term I'm looking for? Almost like bubble-esque, like the two seats sort of have that sort of look over them like the 60s Batmobile did as well, like with the windscreen and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it was, I think it was obviously all CGI. Like I don't think there was a real car there. But look, hey, it from my favorite view was the side view. It looks great. More of that, please.
Yeah, I'm pulling up some images now to try and get a better look at it, because thankfully, it's the internet, and someone took some screen grabs. But yeah, it's still fuzzy. You can't really make it out. But
no.
It's a fun tease nonetheless.
It was great.
Yeah, it was super cool. So, when Jamie teased us with this, I thought for sure I was going to see a T-Rex. But alas, no.
Although we'll get to that, funnily enough.
Yes, we will. But yeah, so yeah, we got a nice little flashback, and so again, the whole story is around Zuko, and so this is almost like a sequel to Robin's Reckoning. It's like what happened after, because they set up that Dick knows that someone killed his parents, and then we get the flashbacks, learning about, they find out it was Zuko. Zuko gets taken into custody, but they're going to cut him a deal because he's going to rat out Maroni and everyone else. And Dick is not okay with this. This is the person who killed his parents. I guess it's a little bit like Batman Begins, where
I was just about to say, yeah, very Joe Chill.
Yeah, where Joe Chill was going to do the same thing, and Bruce Wayne was like, no, this man killed my parents. I cannot let that pass. And Dick is having that same moment with Zuko. It's like, even though it does make sense when you hear the other cop go, yeah, we're going to be able to take down the entire crime family because of this guy. But yeah, Dick doesn't care. And so as he's being transported, I loved this little story of like Dick stepping in and busting him out, and he was going to take his own revenge. Isn't able to bring himself to do it, but as this happens, it leaves an opening for the Maroni family to do their own hit, and then kind of this really rough moment of Zuko knowing he's going to die and asking Robin for help, and Robin saying no.
It was the whole, almost the, I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, I'll be honest. I loved that scene. I thought it was fantastic. I just love watching Brenton Thwaites kick ass as Robin. You mentioned the costume before, but like both Robin costumes, particularly the masks, for some reason, like they just look ripped from the page. They look so damn good. But there was part of me watching this scene, particularly again the second time this morning, where I was going, I can't imagine Bruce not being there. Like, if Batman would know that Zuko's being transported, he would know that, the fact that they're going to let him go because he's going to dob in the rest of the mob and everything. This seems like a moment where Batman would be there to stop Dick from going over the edge, and to essentially stop the Maronis from killing Zuko. It just feels like a moment where Batman would know what's happening, would be there to jump in and to stop Dick from making that mistake. And he doesn't, which doesn't bother me. Like I said, I loved the scene. I love the way it played out. But there's, just that part of me that's kind of like, I reckon that this probably would have played out differently in pretty much in any other universe.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I get that, but I also thought, well, Dick is smart enough to get off on his own if he needs to, and who knows what else was going on in Gotham at the time,
Yeah, I know.
Bruce could have been dealing with the Joker for all we know, but I get it as far as like
his wedding to Catwoman.
Exactly, the important stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get the thought crossed my mind, but I also went, well, Dick Grayson's no slouch. He's capable of slipping away as well. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to go with it for that reason. So, but because Dick, he didn't kill Zuko, but he left this window of opportunity for Maroni to kill Zuko. He had a son who's now, this started a domino effect of the entire Zuko family getting taken out by the Maronis. And so little Zuko, I forget what his name was.
Melting Man?
The son. Yeah, whatever. Melty McMelterson.
Which I love the fact that they had to introduce him holding a melting ice cream just to make sure we got the fact that he was called Melting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so because his family was taken away, he was going to take Dick Grayson's family away, which is why he started taking out his circus family. And the last one left was kind of this big brother / second father in Atlas the Strongman. So again, I love that it was the past coming back to haunt him, and the fact that this was all happening because the criminals of Gotham, they just know there's a Robin out there and they assume it's still the same one.
Yeah.
So there's cool stuff there too. So yeah, I just thought it was a really smart way to play with the past of Dick Grayson to make a threat in the present.
Yeah, and we didn't touch on the tracking device either. Like we
Right.
found out how Jason knew where Dick was. Bruce implanted tracking devices into both Robins, clearly without Dick's knowledge, but Jason knew about his. And that was another moment where you get, like where Jason, it was a nice Jason moment where, because Dick removes his tracker, and Jason's like, you shouldn't have done that. Like, you know, you don't get it. He did it for you. He did it for your protection. So he knew where you were. Like if anything was wrong, he could find you. Whereas Dick sees it the other way of going, no, like we're pawns in his game and he only does things to benefit him. And even, I think Jason says then, like, you don't understand him. Dick's like, I think I'm the only person who really does.
Yeah.
The moments like that, that stuff is, honestly, it blows my mind at the end of these, particularly episodes like this, where, one of the first names you see, and you see it come up over and over and over again, a big hand in the making of the show, is Akiva Goldsman. He was the lone writer on a little movie called Batman and Robin. It just blows my mind that you can go from that to then being such a big hand in a TV show like this that is so ridiculously faithful, and just the fan service and everything is so good.
Yeah, I know it is crazy, but I mean, that's true with a lot of people. Is they've.
It was a different time. I get that.
He thought he was he thought he was doing what was being asked of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Or he did do what was being asked of him, and
exactly.
Times have changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The interplay between Dick and Jason here, and kind of both of their perspectives on the same information, and neither of them are necessarily wrong.
No.
It's all a matter of perspective. Like that is the great stuff here, and that is why I'm loving this show so much. Is they're getting to tell a really rich and deep Dick Grayson story in live action, which something I've been waiting for forever. And this is allowing them to do that, and they're not shying away from it. They're telling stories of Dick with the Titans, but they're also telling stories of Dick grappling with his past, grappling with his relationship with Bruce, grappling with Jason Todd, and trying to figure out who he wants to be, because that's where this episode ends up, with another confrontation between Dick and Jason, where Jason goes a little too hard on a bunch of cops. Dick has to stop him.
Yeah, that was the turning point where he'd skated the line before of liking him and not liking him, but the cop scene is where he turns that corner of, no, this guy, someone needs to get a crowbar because this kid's out of control.
Right.
You see him essentially cripple a police officer when he gets that guy and throws him to the ground and knees him in the back. He's not walking again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, I know. So it is a turning, and this is exactly why you go, oh my God, of course, yes, this is Jason Todd. This is the guy who ends up going down the wrong road and gets himself killed. You can totally see where that happens, and Dick has to step in, and they end up in another, philosophical debate, if you will, where Jason's like, at least I know who I am. You say you don't want to be Robin. You say you want nothing to do with it, and yet here you are, in your Robin suit, carrying it around the country. Who the hell are you, Dick? I know who I am.
It's not exactly what he says, but...
something like that.
Yeah, but even that, there's another line of dialogue in there, and you said before where Jason's having fun with Batman, and that's... He does it for kicks. He's like, I know who the F I am. I'm Robin. I get to kick ass with Batman, and I love it. Who the F are you? He calls it out, and I just wanted to mention too briefly another great line of dialogue that I just sort of while we were talking between the two of them, and it's something that we've fans have talked about, and I'm not sure if it's actually been called out in the comics before, but when not long after they've first met, and Dick says, don't you want to be your own identity, Blue Jay or there was something else.
Sparrow,
that's right. And he's just like, and Jason's like, no, you don't get it. Batman needs a Robin, which is a very Tim Drake thing to say, actually.
Right.
Batman needs a Robin. He's like, why do you think we wear this bright costume? He's like, we draw fire. Like, hey, over here, asshole. And then boom, Batman, arrives and stomps ass. Like, he even calls out like the bright costume and everything. Like that is another great line because it's something that fans have known for years. It's like, yeah, what was that one where the boy hostage, or that was in the Dark Knight Returns, wasn't it? Where I think Harvey Dent said, I used to call him like the boy hostage or something like that. It's because Robin is there to draw the attention of the villains, and then Batman comes in and takes them down.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was fantastic as well.
No, it was awesome. I love that too. And I also love how they called out those pieces of the mythology of here's why Robin's important. Here's why he's still Robin. Here's where he came from. Here's why Dick went to live with Bruce in the first place. And like all of these things. And there was, and they even give you Jason's comics accurate origin.
Yes.
Like, as is, yeah. He was trying to boost the hubcaps on the Batmobile, and Bruce picked him up. And I just loved what an arbitrary occurrence that was that allowed Jason to become Robin, and Dick was just kind of almost appalled by it, where he was like, "Oh, that's how you became Robin, really?" Like,
but how even Jason said, like, it looks like I picked the wrong car or the right one.
Right.
Like the happenstance of it has led him to where he is. Like, to him, he did pick the right car because he's now Robin, and he's thrilled about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then as it gets back to the end where Jason oversteps and he's a little out of control, and Dick even says, Bruce wouldn't want you to do this, and he said, well, Bruce isn't here, is he? So. Again, this is a Jason. Like, yeah, he loves being Batman's partner. He loves being Robin, but he still can't be reined in. He's still going to do his own thing. He's taking advantage of his position, and that is just a very Jason Todd thing.
And when he walks away from Dick too, after the whole "Who the F are you?", like he walks past a cop and just kicks the shit out of this cop while they're down. And lets out an FU as he does it, and then kicks another one as he walks off. Like, this is he does not. He makes it very clear, I think, twice in the episode. He does not like cops.
Yeah,
and like he just destroys them. Like I said, he cripples one of them, for Christ's sake. Like, very brutal, but great scene.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And what I really love about this is, as the show started and we got our very first photo of Brenton Thwaites as Robin, I think we all went, oh, we didn't expect Robin. We expected Nightwing. We thought that's where they were going with this. And I thought at the time, because it was before the show, we knew anything about it, I was like, well, maybe he has to be Robin because they want Nightwing in the movies. And so that's kind of how they're gonna play it. But now that we're seeing this arc of Dick trying to turn his back on Robin, but not fully being able to, he still keeps going back and putting on the suit and doing what he needs to do. And then this conversation with Jason Todd, it really puts him on the road to become Nightwing.
Oh,
and so now I'm thinking maybe that was the intention, is they're like, well, we're going to tell the story of why he becomes Nightwing, and it's not going to be in a quick flashback in a movie, or it's not going to be in a quick flashback in a cartoon. It's going to be a season-long arc of Robin becoming Nightwing, and we were able to tell that story in a much deeper way, and I'm like, awesome. I love that.
And do you think, based on this episode and the way it ends, we've seen Dick in the Robin costume for the final time? Because there is that line of dialogue over the phone with he and Corey when he says he's coming back, and she's like, how many Robins should I expect? And he takes that moment and he's just like, none.
Right.
Like, do you think we've seen him in the Robin costume for the last time? Because I kind of do.
I don't think so. Just because we got a lot, as we said before, we got a lot more episodes to get through, and I don't think that Nightwing is coming anytime soon.
No, but I do wonder if there's not like a faux Nightwing costume, but maybe if he will still have scenes of kicking ass, but he just may not wear the Robin costume, maybe just the mask or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but it's kind of like he just seems very final in the way he's like none. And yeah, like
I think it's more just another step towards or another step away from Robin. I just think we have so much longer to go for him to be out of costume for that long.
yeah, fair enough.
Just
yeah.
realistically speaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. That is kind of where it ends. And at the same time, they had this Dr. Adamson,
I think so.
That guy who was ordering around the nuclear family, who are now gone, but I'm sure they have spares.
I love that in the last episode when their heads, and Corey's like, shit, Dick, think I did this.
Yeah, it was awesome. But I thought they were going to be like a season-long threat. But
they were creepy.
Again, there's... Huh?
They were creepy.
Yeah, so creepy. So... Yeah, like I was surprised to see them taken out because I thought for sure they were going to be on the Titans, following them for the entire season. So we shall see. But anyway, it ends with Adamson and Corey finally trying to get some information. So we're coming back around to the main story of like, why were you after Rachel? And that's where we leave it.
Yeah, and he will only talk to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, good stuff. The only thing I forgot to mention was there is that great scene where Dick gets reunited with Atlas, and it takes him a second to realize that it's Dick. But he's like, "Oh, see, I made the right choice. Look at that. Bruce Wayne did right by you. You're a cop. You look great. You look happy. See, everything worked out." And Dick just doesn't have the heart to tell him that it's a little more complicated than that. Where he even says, well, he did his best.
And there's two other moments Atlas I loved as well. I love the moment when Dick, goes up to him for the first time in 15 years, and when he's being a bouncer and he's like, what do I have to do to get in to the VIP room? You got to have the password. And Dick realizes that he doesn't know who he is, and he's just like, Haley Circus. And that moment of sort of, you can see it dawning on Atlas's face, and the way he's just like, Dickie. And he's so happy to see him, and the way he hugs him and stuff like that. And then, when they're having that chat towards the end of the episode, when he's like, you could have told me you were Robin. And he's like, does Bruce know? And Dick's like, no, what? And he's like, that you're working with Batman. And Dick has that moment of, like, on his face is to be like, really? And he's like, oh, used to. Like, I don't work with him anymore. But, that kind of ties that up as well, because you do think, well, if he knows that Dick was Robin, he's gonna know that Bruce is Batman. But he, obviously Bruce has got that playboy persona down, because he doesn't even for a second. He's like, well, does Bruce know you're working with Batman? I thought that was really great too.
Oh, totally. Because I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, well, now this guy knows their secret identities, but the fact that even he assumes it's not Bruce,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's true. It's great.
Yeah, such good dialogue.
It's a great episode. Such a good episode. More of this, please. But I've been happy with the show completely, The pilot, I really like the pilot, but now, like, seeing where we've gone, it's like, we had so many... onward and upward. It just keeps getting better.
And that's the thing. Every episode where you kind of think you know where it's going and what the show you're going to get, and it takes a turn. Obviously we knew from the titles of the episodes that were released and everything, but just based on the pilot, would you have, in your wildest dreams, thought that an episode like Doom Patrol, would have fit in with that TV series? And you wouldn't have, but it so does.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's actually probably a good time to mention too. Last weekend, I actually got to meet Ryan Potter, who's Beast Boy, and got to have a bit of a chat to him and everything. And he was so lovely, and you can tell he's a fan of this stuff. There was actually a panel at the convention I was at it was sort of like the DC Universe panel they did, and it was Dean Cain, Manu Bennett, and Ryan Potter. So it was like 3 different generations of DC TV actors, and because he's like obviously like literally the youngest, but also the newest in terms of, you know, the incarnations of DC on television. And you can tell, particularly in the panel with those two guys, he's just having an absolute blast, and he's so happy to be there, and loves that he's been given the opportunity, and he's such a fan of this stuff. And when I got to just chat to him one-on-one for a bit, like, he's having it, like, he's genuinely, you could just see it on his face, like, he is so friggin' happy to be where he is at the moment and playing Beast Boy and everything. He was such a sweetheart. He was such a nice guy, and actually quite sympathetic with Australian audiences, and not blaming us for watching this show how we're watching this show at the moment.
Oh, well, that's nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
No, I love him a lot. And in the Doom Patrol episode, once I found out he was a fan of Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, I was like, okay, like, he's the best. He's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great stuff. And he does seem like a fan. I mean, this was the guy who was campaigning to play Tim Drake. So
exactly.
He obviously already loves the world. And so I love that he gets to be a part of it. And I think he's doing great as Beast Boy.
That did make me think too. I wonder if that was a bit meta too. The whole, like, can I be Robin? Given that yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I bet you're right. Cool. Well, there you go. Episode 6, Jason Todd. So good, especially if you're a Batman fan, especially if you're a Robin fan. There's a lot of great stuff in here. It is absolutely worth it. So check it out.
I mean, the fact too, it says a lot. The fact that we've talked about a 40-minute episode of television in probably the same amount of time, and in-depth discussion that we give to, you know, the 90-minute animated movies and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot in there, and it's so, like, it's a fan's wet dream, really.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term. It's so good.
Well, and especially if a Robin fan.
Exactly.
Wet dream. Like,
which is
this
why
is giving us, you know, for all of us starving Robin fans, this is like finally feeding us after years and years and years and years. So it's worth it.
Yeah. If Tim Drake shows up in this series eventually, you're going to pass out from lack of blood to your brain.
I know. We can hope. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, I think it'll take a while, but
yeah, maybe by season 3 or 4, if it's still going. Like, fingers crossed. You know, I could see it happening, definitely.
If we kill off this little shit.
Yep.
All right. Well, anyway, Titans is ongoing on your DC Universe app or on the VHS tapes that I send you, however you need to watch it. But I hope you're watching it. Again, right now it's my favorite show. Comes first before everything else. I love it.
It comes last. That's just chronologically of the way that these episodes are released every week. But it's definitely the best of the bunch. Yeah.
Yeah. So we keep watching that, and we also keep watching Batman the Animated Series, so we're going to move forward in that. Last time, 2 episodes ago, Jamie and I talked about Over the Edge, so we're going to move on to the next episode from Batman the Animated Series. So again, Jamie and I talked about Over the Edge recently, and the next episode up is called Mean Seasons. So this episode, we meet Calendar Girl. Calendar Girl she wears like one solid color and then a mask, and we don't see her face. And she is using seasonally themed weaponry to abduct people. She abducts the head of like a fashion show. Mm-hmm. She abducts the head of a car company, and then she abducts was it a director from the movie?
It was something from a TV network.
It was either like a director or a producer. Because we find out that Calendar Girl used to be a model/actress, and then once she got a little older, all of a sudden she lost her job as a model, and she was no longer the spokesperson for these cars, and she was going to get cast in a part, and they
wanted a younger
turned her
demographic.
down. They wanted someone younger, and so she because she committed the horrible crime of turning 30, all of a sudden her prospects dried up, and so now she's out for revenge, and Batman and Batgirl are out to stop her because she is wreaking havoc as she does it. So, Brendan, what did you think of Mean Seasons?
I didn't love it nearly as much as Titans. I do remember this episode, but I kind of forgot how bad it is. To be honest, I didn't really like it. It's very the plot is almost very 60s Batman in the way that she's got these weird themed costumes and the topless meathead goons that she's got. Yeah, it's not a strong episode at all. I also have questions. Was she abducting these people all in a very short period of time? Or the way I kind of have always watched it is that she's abducting these people in each season. Is that...
So the way she says it is it's as if she's doing it by season, but that means she's just sitting around like 3 months in between waiting, which I don't think is the case.
Yeah, the way the victims are just tied up there, like in the same, like it happened 2 days ago or something. I'm sort of like, I don't follow how this is actually happening. Like, is one actually in spring and then the next one in summer and the next one in autumn/fall? Like, that's the way it plays out. But then the other thing that made me go, hang on a minute, is the guy at Wayne Enterprises who's having the retirement party.
Yes. Because
Lucius says the party's on Friday, but then all these crimes happen over that period of time. And
well, I think that's your answer, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. It's really weird. Like the way it's written, it doesn't. It's not very clear as to how and when but when these crimes are happening, because it does lead you to believe that it's happening every season, like every 3 months.
Well, and that's what, like, again, she kind of implies that because she's like, oh, she says something about like perfect for Halloween or fall or something like that, where she does imply that she's actually in that season. But you're right. Everything else leads me to believe it all took place during a week.
Yeah, the 4th of July one, she's like, see you in the fall. And it's kind of like,
Right.
Okay. Yeah, very strange. But just the episode as a whole, like the top hats with fireworks and I mean, it's very, how can I word this delicately? An episode like this wouldn't exist these days.
See, okay, so I thought that, but it seemed very intentional in what it was doing. And it was actually, I thought, kind of ahead of its time in trying to address or at least shine a light on ageism.
Yeah, I was kind of...
And how, and especially how women are objectified.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the whole, with the car show and everything, like, just the way these... And this is what made me think very 60s Batman, in the way that, there was, like, Miss Summer and Miss Autumn and that sort of stuff. Then there was the whole... her old agent, very kind of Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, I mean, that scene is certainly uncomfortable.
on the casting couch. I'm kind of like, Jesus, this was in a kid's cartoon. Yeah.
Well, and that's why, okay, so I liked this episode more than you did, obviously.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I kind of liked it. I was somewhat impressed. And I think that's why I did like it. I was like, oh, wow, like, they're actually calling out this... the objectification and ageism, especially of women in Hollywood. I was like, wow, like that's kind of ahead of its time in that way. There's certainly that scene with the agent trying to use his influence to take advantage of a young actress, which definitely is cringy, but it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And but especially like right now with everything that is happening in the past year.
Yeah, I probably haven't seen this episode for a couple of years, and it was always cringeworthy, but I viewed it on a whole other level nowadays.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because it wasn't just the stereotype, sleazy one-off. It's like, no, this is actually what Hollywood is like, or was like. I don't know.
Yes.
But yeah.
Well, and it makes you think that, the people making Batman the Animated Series are already familiar enough with this that they're commenting on it. So I appreciated that about it, actually. I actually loved about that. And at the beginning, when she first shows up, Calendar Girl shows up, and her goons are a bunch of, like, Chippendales dancers.
Yeah, that's the term I was looking for.
I was confused. I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, why does she have a bunch of shirtless men as her goons? And I was like, oh, because she's flipping the objectification. She's objectifying the men as her minions the way women are objectified throughout the entertainment industry.
Actually, yeah, I didn't think of it on that deeper level, but you're probably right. Like, I hope that was the intent rather than just...
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure, because that was the whole point. I mean, the whole point of the whole thing is, and it is true. I mean, you'll hear most actresses talk about how, when you turn 30, that's a really tough thing, and it's getting better. I say barely because, I mean, if you're a Nicole Kidman or a Julia Roberts, you keep working, but a lot of actresses have a really hard time once they pass a certain age range. I was just watching something. It was just a trailer, and it was Sarah Jessica Parker, and I was like, oh man, she Botoxed her face, and I could just tell from seeing this trailer with Sarah Jessica Parker, and she's continuously worked. It's not like she's been out of work, but I was like, it is so sad to me that actresses feel like, we have no choice, we have to get work done, because it's the only
one for me is Courtney Cox.
Yeah, Courtney Cox. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Meg Ryan recently.
She was always beautiful, Courtney Cox, and honestly, she looks horrible. And at the same time, it's like, you're not fooling anyone. Like, people don't look like that.
I know, but I feel like they feel they don't have a choice. It's like, you have to do it if you are a female actor. Now, men, we're allowed to age. Sad. It's fine.
So sad.
It's so sad, and that's a whole tangent. But anyway, my point is like, I think it's pretty cool that this random episode of Batman the Animated Series is shining a light on that and going, hey, this is kind of messed up. Also, I'm a sucker for holidays, so I appreciate the holiday-themed weaponry. I thought that was kind of fun. I liked that, even it made Bruce think about how... I think I just woke up Siri somehow. I don't know what I said that made her think I was talking to her. No, Siri, no, I'm talking. But like, it made even Bruce understand that, like, there was this policy in his company that was somewhat ageist that he didn't even think twice about. So I don't know, like, I mean, is it the best episode ever? No, but I thought there was something there. I thought it was interesting. And I guess they were like, well, hey, there's Calendar Man. And Calendar Man, like, we don't really want to do an episode on Calendar Man. What if we flipped it? What if we did Calendar Girl? What would that be? And I thought there were some cool ideas in here.
Well, there is sort of that double meaning of the Calendar Girl and all that sort of stuff. So, like, I don't mind that. Like, that worked well, actually.
So, I just think there was a lot of really cool ideas in here. And the fact that, she doesn't want anyone to see her face. And she even says it, I starved myself. I got work done. I did everything I could. And none of it mattered because the time just kept going. And it was over. Which, again, I think is a very real thing. But she won't let anyone see her face. And this is not an episode I know well. But I knew I had to have seen it at some point because I did remember that she was still beautiful. I remember. Yeah,
I remember that part.
So, like, I thought that was like a really poignant way to end the episode. I like this one.
Actually, there was that scene too that was pretty cool with Batman and Batgirl in the Batcave when they're working out who she is, and I think Batman says something like "pretty girl" or something like that. And Batgirl's like, don't you mean woman? Like, she was your age when she shot this ad, Batboy.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like, I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this isn't just a throwaway episode. They were trying to do something, and I respected that. And I also thought it made... Because when I looked ahead, I was like, the Calendar Girl, what the hell is that? I don't even remember what that is. And the fact that I got sucked in and I was invested in it, I don't know, says a lot.
Oh, look, you've made me, just in this discussion, like, change my view on the story they're trying to tell with it. It probably goes deeper than I gave it credit for, particularly for the fact that it was made in like 98 when this sort of stuff wasn't, and I probably thought they were making it as more of like a throwaway thing. But there is still elements of it. I know this is a cartoon, and I know we've spoken about it before, particularly in this New Adventures or Season 4, however way you want to look at it, where some of the stuff is just so ridiculous cartoony for me. Like the top hats that shoot fireworks, and how just all of a sudden, like, she can shoot fireworks out of her fingers, and she can just throw a sash at someone that she was just wearing, and it renders them unable to move and stuff like that. Like I said, I know this is a cartoon, but based on the sort of the more realistic take on this world from the previous 3 seasons, some of that stuff just doesn't sit well with me. It just feels off. And whenever there's an episode like that, I think one of the last ones you and I discussed was sort of like that as well.
Are you talking about Baby Doll? Because
Possibly.
I feel like you said, you're like, where does she get all these weapon toys?
Yeah.
Like, where are these coming from?
Like
I totally thought that.
Yeah,
I thought that in this episode. When she threw that sash and it like became sentient and wrapped around the guy, I went, how does she have that? How does that work?
Yeah, like, I don't know. Just that sort of stuff just always takes me out of it. It just doesn't sit well with me at all. And like, not to jump ahead, but like the next one with critters with like giant farm animals and stuff, I'm kind of like, ugh. And we haven't even mentioned the friggin' dinosaur yet.
Oh yeah, of course.
That was another moment. I'm like, this is kind of just ridiculous. Like, that's not how animatronics work. Like, this thing turned into a real T-Rex attacking them. It's like, no, people need to be controlling that thing. I could maybe forgive
and it doesn't walk freely on its own either.
No, I could maybe forgive it if at the end of the episode, like, there's a throwaway line about bring that back to the Batcave or something. Like, maybe I could forgive it, but it just ends really suddenly. Like, the note that it ends on is a really strong and powerful ending. Like, even as ridiculous as I thought this episode was, I like that ending. Like, I really do. And there is a message there. But like the whole dinosaur thing and everything, it's like, what are you doing? Like, this is just stupid. Does nothing for me.
Well, you're not going to get me to talk bad about dinosaurs and Batman fighting. Nice try.
I knew
not going to
watching
happen.
this, I'm like, Andy's going to love this because it's a dinosaur fighting Batman. Which don't get me wrong, a part of me can appreciate it, but just the fact that there's like, this is so bonkers. Like, this is not how these things work. Again, I know it's a cartoon universe, but when this Batman the Animated Series that has been so not even realistic, but faux realistic and dark and gritty to a point, and until now, it's just sort of like, yeah, you've kind of lost me.
I get your point, and it certainly crossed my mind, but I have an easier time just saying it's a cartoon and just leave it at that. Because, yes, I thought it with the sash, and I did think it with the dinosaurs. I'm like, man, that is a really impressive special effect that it can walk and attack on its own. But at the same time, I went, that's why it's an animated series.
Yeah.
That's why it's not a movie.
And I can see both sides to that. I really can. I know I'm talking out both sides of my mouth, but yeah.
And I totally expected the T-Rex to end up back in the Batcave.
Yeah.
That was so odd that did not happen, because I'm like, why else do you do a big robotic T-Rex if it's not going to end up back in the Batcave?
Exactly.
So weird. But no, I totally get it. I thought that. But again, like, I also don't think that's abnormal with a lot of these cartoons, and so you go, oh, well. Aside from being a model and actress, she apparently can create very effective holiday-themed weaponry.
Yeah. And I mean, it's dangerous for those bloody henchmen of hers to be around all those fireworks with no clothing on.
Yeah, well.
And that one goon that gets that big, like, be quiet moment, and it's like, oh, piss off, idiot.
All right, well, it's not often that we disagree on one of these.
No, look, you're going to ask me for a letter grade, aren't you?
Yep.
I all morning watching this episode, I was firmly sitting on a D. Now that you have, like, honestly, like, just through the discussion, like I said, you have sort of opened my eyes a little bit too. They were trying to tell a deeper story than what I originally took it for, because I was looking at it through today's lens, thinking, yeah, but were they trying to tell that story back in 98? And you've made a compelling argument. They most likely were. So just for that and it being ahead of its time, I will go from a D to a C minus. But I still overall don't like the episode. It's just too far out there for me in terms of how they told the story.
All right. Yeah, I like this one. I mean, again, it's not going to be the top tier, but I was entertained by it. I liked what it had to say. I thought it was creative and new and different, and I was invested. So I had a good time with it. And I especially give it a lot of credit for the issues it was addressing 20 years ago. So I was at a B+. I enjoyed it.
Fair enough.
So a C- and a B+ for Mean Seasons. Moving forward is Critters, which I have no recollection of. Talking about farm animals.
Never liked this episode.
I don't remember it, but maybe when I see it, I will remember it. But right now, from the description, I'm like, that sounds insane, and I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Yeah, no. You'd
All right.
probably leave it that way. I always love being on these episodes, but if I can avoid the one that has critters on it, that'd probably be for the best.
Well, we'll see. Now I might have to force you to do it, because that's how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so if you're following along, next one is Critters, which is also a really good 80s horror movie. Maybe we should watch that instead.
In the words of Raphael from the original Turtles movie, where do they come up with this stuff?
Right.
That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut reference, actually. That one.
But I know where you got it.
Exactly.
All right, so there you go. That is next for Batman the Animated Series, and now we will very briefly crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
Darren, what is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. This is all, Master Wayne.
I wondered if I should even do this, but it's one email, and I like just being able to check it off the list. So we only got one email, and the reason for that is because we are recording this episode only a couple days after the last episode, so we haven't had time for the emails to pile up, but that's because Thanksgiving. I wanted to get something recorded so you guys didn't have a long wait between episodes. I'm trying to get back on a better schedule.
I was going to say, because funnily enough, this episode is kind of back on your normal recording schedule.
Yeah, I know. So I'm trying to get us back on schedule. We'll see what happens. All right. So this our one email. Ooh, it's a long one. So hey, that's something. This comes from Marcus Ellis. It says, I've got two random unrelated questions. Number one, I've been catching up on Supergirl, and I found it strange timing in the episode where James decides to reveal that he is Guardian to protect that girl. Then he goes off on how people will react that he's a black man under the mask. I myself am black, and it just felt weird and forced. I've experienced what James talks about in that scene about the police and that sort of racism. However, it felt very random. I found that when Jon speaks in another episode about taking the form of a black man and keeping it that way, far more relatable and more organic. It was just kind of jarring and weird in my opinion. Any thoughts on this? Maybe I'm overthinking it. I can get behind the message. It just seemed unnecessary. Number two, growing up with Batman the Animated Series was the best, but one thing has always bothered me. In the show, they used the Matt Hagen iteration of Clayface, and that's all I knew for a long time. I'm just getting my feet wet in the realm of comics, thanks to you guys, but in every other story I've seen, including the Arkham games and the limited comics I've read, they use Basil Karlo. Does anyone care? Justice for Matt Hagen. Marcus, thank you for the message. So first thing about the Supergirl episode, was that a recent one? Because maybe I'm a couple episodes behind. I don't remember this conversation.
You mean it must be a couple episodes behind. It was fairly recent, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think I'm a little behind, so I didn't see this scene yet. So I don't have much to add, other than I agree with you. I liked when they asked him, I liked the way they handled the question of race around, but I have to see how James tries to explain it in relation to the Guardian. So, Brendan, what do you think?
I think that if you're even remotely up to date with Supergirl this season, it wouldn't be an accident. That it's not an accident that James said what he said, because this season they are very much using aliens as a way of. This season's very political.
Yeah,
for lack
totally.
of a better term, like they are using, like I said, the aliens to mirror what's happening with race and religion and beliefs in your country at the moment, or in the world at the moment, but more to the point, your country. And it's not by accident. It may feel a little bit forced, I guess. I can't comment. I don't really feel like I have a horse in the race. Like, I'm a white guy in Australia, but as a white guy in Australia who watched that episode, I definitely got what the underlying point of what James was saying in that scene. Well, not even underlying, it was, no pun intended, black and white. Like, it was out there in front for everyone to see. Like, and I can appreciate it. I get what they're doing this season. I kind of like what they're doing this season and the parallels they're telling, and they're trying to really send a message, and good on them.
Yeah, I've really been enjoying this season, and I think the last one I did see was where it was like all flashbacks of Sam Witwer's character.
That was a brilliant episode.
That was a great episode. That was the last one I think I saw.
And like, none of the main characters were really in it. I kept turning to Jess while we were watching that. I think that might have been 2 or 3 episodes ago now. Like, I kept saying to Jess, I'm like, I'm loving this episode. Like,
yeah. It was really good. So I think that was the last one I saw. So I guess I am behind. But your point is very valid. Supergirl, especially this season, is confronting a lot of things going on in our country head on. Sort of metaphorically, but it's crystal clear what they're doing and what they're saying. So it doesn't surprise me that they would address it so directly here. I'll look forward to the scene. I at least get the gist from what you wrote, Marcus, of what kind of the intent was, and maybe the intent, it sounds like the intent was accurate, but maybe the execution was a little off for you. That's what I'm hearing. So that makes sense. As for...
Sorry,
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you answer the other question. I forgot about the Clayface side of things.
So yeah, Matt Hagen as Clayface. Just that there's been many Clayfaces over the years. And you're right, it is weird that like the animated series did Matt Hagen, and yeah, recently it's been a lot of Basil Karlo. Do I care? Not really. I mean, there's been plenty. It's fine. It's interesting because there are a lot of things like the animated series did that did not get traction. We talked about it with like, what was it? Ruby Rocket? Was that her name?
Roxy Rocket.
Roxy Rocket. Like stuff like that. Like, so yeah, I mean, a lot of the things the animated series still gets adhered to, and a lot of it, doesn't always stick. So, it gives an opportunity for some writer out there, some comic book writer, to go, I'm bringing back Matt Hagen, and I'm going to put him up against Basil Karlo, or I'm going to have him team up, or whatever, and they can play with that. But, it's just the nature of comics, is you can pull from many, many, many years of characters and stories and just play with who you want to play with. So, what do you think, Brendan?
Oh, look, I agree. I've never been a huge Clayface fan. But I'd never really noticed the difference between the two of them, to tell you the truth. Like, I know there have been multiple Clayfaces, but yeah, I've never paid much attention. I'll just take it as read as the one that's on screen or on the comic page at the time. Yeah, I don't really care which one.
All right. Well, there you go. Thank you for the message, Marcus. And the Wayne Manor mailbox is empty, guys. So if you want to send us a message sometime over your Thanksgiving holiday, you can email us at holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Or you can, of course, leave us a voicemail at 323-366-9246. And if you do leave us a voicemail, please leave us your name and keep it to around a minute. Please and thank you. But that'll do it for this episode of Holy BatCast. Brendan, You survived it, and thanks for powering through.
Oh, mate, like I said, honestly, I need to apologise because I'm sure there's moments, even I could hear it in myself, where I may have sounded a little bit bored or a bit dull. But I've actually had a really good time talking about all these topics today. It's been a bit of a pick-me-up. So if I have sounded a bit down and flat, it's not my intent. It's just what my voice is allowing me to do at the moment. I genuinely had fun. So thanks for having me.
I have that effect on everyone, Brendan. Don't feel bad.
It's not you. It's just my voice, how it sounds at the moment. So I've legit had a really good time. And like I said, my wife's been away. This is like day 7 of 10, and I've been sick by myself here, stuck at home for the last couple of days. So it's been good to sort of chat to the outside world, to tell you the truth, and sort of feel a little bit more human again. So I do really appreciate it.
Well, good. I'm happy to give you some human interaction. If the folks at home want to keep up with you, where can they do that?
You can find me on Twitter at Loey007, or you can follow my podcast, The Nightlight, when we do release episodes, on Twitter at NightlightPod, or on Nightlight / it's been that long, I can't even remember. thenightlight.podbean.com is where you can find the podcast.
Perfect. Go right ahead and do that. I already told you where to find me. So thank you, everybody out there, for downloading the show. Thank you for listening. Please do subscribe to the show. And please rate and review us on iTunes. But most importantly, as Michael Keaton's Batman says, I want you to tell all your friends about me. Visit holybatcast.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, Holy BatCast. And again, if you've got an email, you can send that to holybatcast@rf4rm.com or leave us a voicemail at 323-366-9246. But that'll do it for this episode. On behalf of Brendan, I've been Andy. We will see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Holy BatCast is brought to you by real fans for real movies. Remember, the thoughts and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone, and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
What do you think you're doing? They're cops.
That's the coolest part about being Robin. Wearing a mask. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Did you not just hear what I said? There's no way Batman's cool with beating up cops.
He isn't. I don't see him here. The cops in Gotham kick my ass every night. Now I get to kick back.
You obviously have your own shit going on. But you're gonna wake up one day and have no idea who you are.
Oh, coming from the guy screaming, I'm not Robin. I don't want to be Robin. Standing there in a fucking Robin suit, carrying that case all over the country. You want to know the real difference between us? I know who I am, man. I kick ass with Batman, and I fucking love it. But who the fuck are you?